Hello, everyone, and welcome to what I'm hoping is going to help you with your unfinished album overwhelm feeling. I'm going to walk you through today how I'm getting organized to complete these two albums here. And these are two albums from Days of December or December Daily type projects that I have not finished. I've started them off with good intentions, but I haven't got around to finishing them because December can be quite busy, and then there were a few issues with my parents for 1 year where I was having to travel back and forth to them. They live a couple of hours away from me. And for whatever other reason, these albums just did not get finished. There's always something that you can put aside and think you'll get to it later, and then it just builds up and it becomes overwhelming to actually get back to these sort of projects. Now, the tips I'm going to share with you today on how I'm getting organized to get these albums finished can be applied to any sort of album project. I know a lot of us have unfinished album projects that we think we're going to get back to, that we would like to finish off. And there's a lot of scrapbookers who are never going to be up to date, and that's all fine. You want to scrapbook the memories that are going to make you happy with the products that you have on hand. And for me, I don't scrapbook chronologically when it comes to actually completing my albums. I use the photos that I want to scrapbook with the product I want to use and what's going to make me happy at the time. And then I put those pages into the album and go along and fill up the gaps. Now, I'm going to show you these, and this was going to be part of my Christmas in July collaboration with the creative design team, and I'll have a link to that playlist below. But I unfortunately was quite unwell during July and couldn't get to all my projects that I was supposed to be doing. So I missed out on the video collab timing, but I am going to add this video to that list. So I'm not sure which one I should start with first. I'm just going to open up them both so you can see 2023, 2024. Both of them are unfinished. There are a lot of holes in these, and when I look at this, it's a little bit of an overwhelm to decide what photos to use, and I'm going to help you go through that and how to organize it within your album. So when I look at December 2023, I have got overlay pieces that I prepped. I've hardly got any photos in here at all. I've got some page protectors. I've got some paper cut ready to go. I've got a photo slipped in here that I know is going there. And this is a little bit overwhelming when you look at something like this and you know that you've gone to this work. And I think I did these overlay pieces in the CDT membership group. And I did those and I put them in here because it was going to fit with the theme of this book. This one goes back to Close to My Heart days, and I'm going to show you how I've organized all the product for that. But there are a lot of gaps here to fill up. Now, I don't necessarily have, you can see we had to go to hospital on actual Christmas Day with Mum, but I don't have photos for necessarily every single day of December, and that's okay. I'm letting that go. I'm not going to try and take filler photos. I'm going to scrapbook the photos that I have and concentrate on telling the stories. But I really want to complete this album. I did this very cool acetate one, a bit of a see-through one here. I love how this looks, and you can see I've got a bit of a theme going with the papers that I'm using. And I've kept all of those and organized them so it will be easy to delve into that box and get out what I need. But first I need to work out what photos are going to go where. Now, when it came to 2024, I was with Stampin' Up. So I've got a whole different sort of look to this one. This one is a very classic sort of look, a very elegant look. This one I decided to make a little bit more fun. And this was an ephemera pack that was available last year, and I made that my title page. And I did start off this album in December, and then you can see I got to day 3 and things started to fall apart, and I've got day 20 scrapbooked. So everything in between has not been documented. Now I'm going to go through my process of how to work this out. Now, whether you want to do this on your computer, if you've got Word, or you can do it in a Google Doc, you can make a spreadsheet with Excel. I use Artisan. I can sit there and open up an album and I can put what photos are going on what day. And if I want to be super organized, I can actually drag those photos in and just put them there so it's a visual for me. But what I do first is go through my phone and look at the photos that I've got. So you can see I've got day 3 here, and then I go to day 7, 8, 9, 10, and I go through with post-it notes and I just label what photos are going to go on each of these layouts And while I'm doing that, I actually write a little bit of a blurb sometimes on what my journaling is going to be. So I've gone through and I've done this for all of my 2024 album, and I'm going to do the same process for 2023. And for me, this gives me some focus on what I'm going to do for these actual layouts, rather than them being just empty pages that I haven't filled up at all. So get out your post-it notes, get out your phone and scroll through and go through photo by photo and just write little post-it notes on what those days are going to be. This applies for a travel album, it applies for a family album, it can apply for a children's album or a school album as well. This process just helps you focus on what needs to be done. Now you might notice, here's December 21, that December 22, I've got several pages, because we actually had Christmas at home here a few days before Christmas with my family, because on Christmas Day, I went down and had Christmas with my parents at their aged care centre. So I wanted to have a regular sort of family day here, and I did take quite a few photos on this day. Now, because I've got gaps from the 3rd to the 7th, I know I'm going to be able to concentrate on the stories behind these photos and just feature these photos in this layout. Now, this is a 6x8 album, so there's not as much real estate as what I would do for a 12x12 album. If I was doing this in a 12x12 layout, all of these photos would probably go on the one page. But there were quite a few things that we did on that Christmas Day that we celebrated here that I wanted to remember. So I have gone up to December 28. So this is going to be not a photo a day for December. You can let that feeling go. If you feel like you have to take a photo each day and it's becoming too much, just let that go and take the photos of the things that you love in December for this particular album style. So now that I've got all of these little notes done from my phone, it's time to go and print my photos, which I have done. So I printed home. You can see I've used some A4 printing here. So these large ones here, I just need to cut down and I can decide whether I want this just to be a photo on my page. You can see this one here, I've put it into a page protector and I've done an overlay on top of it so that the Christmas tree peeks through from that little open piece here. So that's a bit of fun with a December daily book, but you can also do that with your travel albums and other albums that you do. So all I need to do for this is organize my photos now, and this just becomes a little process that you can do while the album is open in front of you. Now I've printed these to fit on my pages. So there's my little seashell tree. Now this one, I took a screenshot of it because I absolutely love it. It popped up on my Facebook feed and I can't give credit to who it is because there weren't any details, but I would love to have a Christmas tree like this. My mum has a lot of shells, so I'm thinking one year I might be able to do that in some form. Then I went shopping and I got books for mum for Christmas. So there's a little story behind that as well. And then I can just sort through my photos here. And I'm not even going to cut these so that they're the exact size. You can see that I've got white borders around here. I'm just going to cut them roughly so I can go through and start putting my photos in here so that it is not as overwhelming. Now, this one here is a very large one because I've printed it at 6x8. So I'm not sure, sorry about the noise, I'm not sure if that is going to fit inside there. I might need to trim it down a little bit more. It will make it a lot easier if you open up your album and start putting your things in. So let's see if that will fit into this. It's not going to quite fit. So this one I would have to trim down slightly and then do the same for this one here as well. So I'll have to trim that down slightly so that it is 8 inches tall, but I can't do that for now. I don't want to bore you and trim all of my photos. So then I would just move on to this one and select the photos here and start putting all of them in here. So this is all part of the sorting process so that it is all done. I'm just going to do these couple off camera and have all my photos in here, and then I'm going to come back and talk about organizing your supplies. So I've gone through and I've put all the photos in here, and already I feel like I've got a handle on what I'm doing for the rest of this particular book. So by doing this, it just takes out the overwhelm because I've got them here. They're all sorted. They're ready to go. You can see this is a full 6x8 behind here, and I've cut this one down. I think this photo I've printed at around 3 inches by 8 inches. So I might make this one a little pull-out piece. Just by doing this and writing a few little words and printing the photos, I'm not worried about what design I'm going to make for this page yet. I just printed the photos so that I can design my layouts around my photos. And this one is going to have 2 on them because when I was going through and deciding what photos were going to go where, I had a little bit of an odd page here. So it's okay to have 2 photos on one layout. I also have these old memory protectors from Close to My Heart, and I have to be mindful because I have this album to complete too, and I think these are all that I have left. I have to go on a bit of a hunt to see if I can find more, but I'm okay with using up what I have and making it work. For this one here, I'm going to be able to use one of these pages here, so I'm going to get that out straight away while I'm on my organization little kick here, and I'm going to do the Christmas gin. Now I'm sticking these onto the plastic. There is a story behind the Christmas gin, but that is going to go in here, and it's on the back side. So I'm going to turn this around and just slide it in, and I will trim it down later. I'm not worried about the orientation of it. This was when I started doing my December daily book. So that one is going to go on the top here, and I'm just going to slide that in for now. I need to trim this one down just a little bit so it'll fit. Trim that one down so it will fit into here, and I'm just going to take this post-it note off and put it on that one. And then on this side, I am going to have, this is one of my favourite Santas ever. And he just looked quite cute next to the bowl of cherries because I have to buy a box of cherries each year. Buying the whole box, they're so much nicer. And they don't last very long in our house. So that is going to be that page there. And I might do that for a couple of other ones where it is back-to-back 3x4s so that I can use some of these divided up pocket pages here. But that's what you can do when you start putting your photos in. Your mind starts thinking about how you're going to lay things out. Now, I'm not showing these ones on camera because they're photos of my family. And then I've got some more with my family here. And yes, it's not really a Lego Santa, but I got given this for Christmas by my son and his partner, and I sat there and put that together, and he just makes me so happy. I love him. And then I've got my final one, which is going to end on the 28th because I don't have any photos from New Year's Eve. We didn't go down to the beach like we normally do, but my daughter and I had finished our advent calendar. I got a jigsaw puzzle one. We finished that on December 24th, but I hadn't taken a photo of the completed one, and we really enjoyed doing one little box each day leading up to Christmas Day. So I took this photo on the day that I was packing everything up. So now I have all of this organized. The overwhelm doesn't feel so bad now that my photos are sitting in here ready to be scrapbooked. And I do need to do exactly the same thing with this one. It can be very quick decisions when you go through your camera roll, especially when most of your photos now are on a phone. So just make that decision, put them in a little album in your phone, and then you can just sort through those ones and you're not overwhelmed by a whole lot of other photos that you're seeing on your phone reel as you go through. So now it comes to the decision of how to choose what to do with each of these layouts. So to make it easy for me, I'm going to go through my 6x8 sketchbooks from the creative design team. We have 3 volumes in 6x8, volume 1, 2 and 3. We also have an 8.5 by 11, and these translate really well to 6x8 layouts. So I'm going to use sketches for this. So I'm going to have my album open. I'm going to look at what the photos are, and then I'm going to pick a sketch and write on my little post-it note which sketch I'm going to use for which page. And I'm going to do that quite quickly as I flip through these and see a sketch that I might like. I'm just showing you the cover now because I haven't covered up all the cutting instructions in here. But anywhere that I've got, I can see this layout here. I might only have one photo, but I love this design. So I might use this one on a page I could use it on this one here and turn it sideways and just have one photo on there. You don't have to necessarily have all the photo placements. So that's my next step to do for this book. I'll just write volume 3, page, whatever page it is, and then I've got that plan. I'm going to do that before I start scrapbooking any of these layouts so that I can take this with me if I'm going to go on a crop somewhere else or a weekend retreat, and I can just sit there. I'm organized and I'm focused and I know exactly what my plan is for each of these pages. Now, if I can't find a sketch that I want, I will make up something myself, but that is how I'm going to organize that book. And I do want to show you how I organize my papers and my embellishments, and it's 2 different ways. So the first way was the good old white box from Close to My Heart. So this one here relates to my 2023 album where I've got this Silver Bells paper and I've got other elements and everything here. Everything that I need is in this box. I've even put the stamp sets in here because I was going through them all to decide what I was going to keep when we moved over to Stampin' Up, and I've kept aside all of the stamp sets that I'm going to use. I don't want to go looking somewhere else for things. So the stamp sets are in there. These are the numbers I'm going to use for each day. This one came with some thin cuts and it's actually a birthday set, but I love the numbers. I'm just going to bring one in here so you can see these are the numbers that you can die cut. So I'm using those all the way through. So all the stamp sets I'm going to use on this album are in this box. I've already got my dots set aside for this. They're coordinating ones, the Silver Bells ones. I have some bags of pre-stamped and pre-cut pieces that I am going to use. This is another piece here. I've got a whole bag full of leaves that I used with this slimline die. They're all in here ready to go. I've even got pieces here that I've stamped for other projects and I've just put them all in the box. Now I'm not going to work on this one first. Oh, I think I've got more dots, or they might be the same ones. I'm going to finish off my 2024 one first, and then I'm going to show you how I'm going to reorganize these pieces so that I don't have to keep digging through the box all the time. So you can see these are the off-cut pieces from the pages that I've already created. I've got some stamped pieces here. I've even got some baubles here that I was working on. I might do some mixed media on those. I've got the paper packet. So I used, I think this is a 4 Seasons. No, this might be a mix-in. I can't remember. It's on the branding strip. So I'm curious now. I'll have to have a look. Yes, it's mix-ins November, December from Close to My Heart. And if you look on the branding strips, if you've got any old Close to My Heart paper, it will tell you that was in 2023. So that coordinates really nicely with the Silver Bells. So I've got some of that paper in here. I put some acetate sheets in here because I was using that quite heavily with all these interactive pieces. So I think I might use that again. What else have I got in here? This is a long forgotten box. I haven't looked through this for a long time. I've got the sticker sheet that came with the Silver Bells pack. I've got some more pieces that are offcuts. You can see I've got some of the patterned acetate. This is old CTMH acetate as well that was printed. And you can see I need to take off the backing strip here as well, so I won't forget to do that. I've got some more little punch pieces. So this box has just had a whole heap of stuff thrown in there. I've got these evergreen die cuts from Close to My Heart. I'm going to bring some of those in as well. Some more of the Silver Bells paper packet. So this has been a little bit of a dumping ground for all the things that I'm going to use on my 2023 album, but it's quite good that they're all in one place, and that is my biggest advice. Anything that you're going to use for an album, if you can do a little sort and maybe put them in a box, or what I'm going to show you in a moment, at least you've got those things to hand ready to pick up that box and go and start creating. So that's my December 23 box. I'm just going to move on and show you what I'm going to use for my December 2024 album. So when Stampin' Up! Came along, I bought these Kato plastic envelopes, and they're really great for putting the paper in. I even put the off-cut pieces in here for my specialty paper. This one is no longer available, so I've pulled it off my shelf to put it aside so that I know that I will use this in the album. I've also got some Mercury vellum. I've been using the Season of Green and Gold with some of the layouts. I've got some of the gold and silver foil, the Regal Distress pattern paper. I've put that aside for this album. You can still purchase this one. So they brought that over into the new annual catalogue, and I've got an extra packet of that because I wasn't sure if that was going to happen. I wanted to make sure that I had enough. And then I've got some of the ephemera pieces that were available that you might remember I showed you early on. I'll just get the album out. So I've used some of the tags and the ephemera pieces here, and I do have another packet of that because I put that aside to use in this album. And I've got some of the envelopes still. Oh, I was going to make cards and send some of those out, and that didn't happen. But I think it was because I thought about using some of these card bases as elements on my layout. So if I go back and I find... where is it? The one that I just put into the little pocket page. This is going to be perfect to cut down and use as a quick base for my actual photo. So let me just get these two photos out. So this is going to work quite nicely. So already I have this page sort of in my head of what I'm going to do for it. All I have to do is trim these down to fit inside these little pockets, and I love how that works. So what I could do while I'm on my organizing sort of roll here is cut one of these down to 4 inches by 6 inches. And I can slide it straight into my little protector here so that I know that I'm going to use this. I don't know if I'm going to use it with that one. It's a bit too much red, but I'm definitely going to use it for my Christmas gin photo. So that I'm going to slide straight into here. And I've already got part of this all ready to go. All I have to do is trim this photo down a little bit so it fits a bit better. So that one is going to go inside here. And then all I have to do is find some little elements to go with it and create a little text box so that I can journal on there. And then for this one, if I'm looking at these, I can even cut the envelopes down if I wanted to and put him on there and then add some red accents. I think he's going to look better on the green than on the red. I think there's just a little bit too much red on here and it's not quite the same tone. It is a little bit in his coat here, but I think I like him better on green. So they're the decisions that I'm going to do when I get my pieces of paper out. When I see something, I'm going to get right in there and just cut it up so I know that that's what I'm going to use. And then on the other side, I will probably cut this piece down that I just cut and put that either going in the same way so that it looks like it's continuous, or I could even turn it around a little bit so that the gold edge is on both sides. I am just going to slide that one in. I just trim that down. I can slide that in so I can see what that looks like. I do love how that looks. I'll just take these off so you can see. I know this is around the wrong way, but that creates a continuous design for a pocket page, and I'm already on my way to getting that one done. So I'm just going to put him back on his little pocket here, so he's ready to go. And I'll have a think about whether or not I'm going to cut up the envelope or a card base for this. My daughter used all the blue colorways for her Christmas cards this year, and I have just kept all of these because I knew I wanted to incorporate them probably into this album. So I'm just going to move this aside for the moment and put these back in. So everything to do with 2024 for papers and for these ephemera pieces are in these plastic pockets, which I could then put into a box and easily take it along to a crop. So I've got my boxes labelled on the side here. Obviously, I thought I was going to finish this one off. So this is 2023. And I know you can get from Kmart some 12 by 12 plastic containers. We used to be able to get them. I haven't been able to find them there for a while. So I just keep going in and having a little look because I might need to do this for 2024. So I will make a box up with these pattern papers to put directly inside here, ready to grab to do my December 2024 book. And then I have these universal craft storage sort of trays here, and they stack on top of each other. So my twine's on the top because it's a bit too tall. I've got my numbers all cut here. So I have used the alphabet a la mode dies to cut all my numbers. And then I have got these ephemera pieces all sorted, ready to go in these trays. And they easily just come apart. Now, I got mine from Craft Online here in Australia. If you're looking for them, I believe they're also available through Amazon, but I found that craftonline.com.au had these in for quite a good price. So they're all the ephemera pieces that I've got that I'm going to use before I open up that other packet that was a complete packet. I'm going to make sure that I use as much of these as possible. And then I think you remember this little reindeer. He's so cute. I've got some ready to stamp as well. I've got a little tray of these to add to my pages. So this is all sorted, ready to go. I have a trestle table off to the side of this area here where I do most of my crafting. I have a stand-up desk in the corner, so I can get these out and spread them out on my trestle table and just go through all the elements. This little bow actually goes with the little reindeers. And then when I'm finished working on it for the day, I can just put these all back together again and build them up like this so that they're easy to move. And because they click in, they don't move around. So I'm going to finish my 2024 one first because I've got these in these trays. And then what I was showing you out of that box for 2023, I'll decant those pieces into here so that they're easy to find and sort. So that's my big plan. I don't have a finished page to show you today or a new one, but I wanted to come on and give you some organization tips to help you with the unfinished album overwhelm feeling. I do have that with these. I've got other projects that I need to finish off, but just by quickly going through, you saw how quick that was. I know I paused the camera for a little bit, but just having these in here sorted and ready to go, it's going to make it so much easier for me to get these layouts done and this album finished, and then moved on to my 2023 one, hopefully before December comes around this year. I hope this has helped you with some ideas on how to organise unfinished albums. I think printing the photos is really the first step. If you can do that and put them inside an album that you have partially put together with the memory protectors, you know you're not going to run out of memory protectors, or if you need to use some more, especially with albums that have retired. I'm glad I have, I hope, enough. If I don't have enough for this one, I might create some pages just directly onto cardstock and punch holes in them. For these books, it's fun to have some interactive elements on them. So that's what I've got for you today with organising an unfinished album project. I hope it helps. As I said before, as always, happy crafting. Thank you so much for watching, and bye for now.